Satija is also saying she's trying to join Venkat.
Okay, okay. Then let's wait.
Maybe you have to let her in.
Oh, but I haven't
She
heard
she
any
says
login.
she
She's
says
not yet
trying to
logged.
join. She says
Yeah,
trying to join.
yeah. So it's okay, right? If it stretches a bit because we started it late.
Venkat, I will have to leave at 7:30 because my children are leaving tonight and tomorrow
Okay.
night for London. So I have to,
Sure.
I'll log out at 7:30. So,
Yeah, no problem.
So I don't have any problems, Venkat. I can stay late because it is anyway end of the day.
Sure.
Venkat, maybe you like to look into it. Satija saying she's getting an error message while she's trying to log in.
No. Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So we'll wait for Sarsija, ma'am. is joining. We'll wait. You can see it, I hope.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see that.
I need to share sound as well. Where's sound?
शुक्लाम्बरधरं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्याः सुमनसः सर्वार्थानाम् उपक्रमे यन्नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तन्नमामि गजाननम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ दोहिर्द्यूतचतुर्भिस्मृतिकमणिभार्यामक्षयमालां दधानाः हस्तेनैकेन पद्मं सितमपि च शुकं पुस्तकं चापरेण भासा कुन्देन्दुशुभ्रस्फटिकमणिनिभा भासमाना समानाः सा मे वाग्देवतेयं निवसतु वदने सर्वदा सुप्रसन्ना ॐ हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं मेधादक्षिणामूर्तये नमः Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So welcome all of you to this basic course in Vedic Astrology. And first we'll begin with short introduction of each other. Let me share the flow for today. So we'll have a short introduction of each other. Then we'll see introduction to Vedic astrology. I have a pre-recorded video that I made, and also on some important terminology, and then the differences between Vedic and Western astrology. Then we'll again just show you the at a glance view of the curriculum, and then about the structure and the process will follow. And if you have any questions, and then the closing prayers. Okay, so let's begin with Ravi.
Hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Ravi. So my native is from Tamil Nadu, South India. For the last 10 years, I'm living in Germany. So currently I'm working in IT industry. And regarding astrology, I got a chance to learn a couple of times earlier. And I'm more interested to learn about Dasa and Bhukti. And within Bhukti, we can see how much we can divide and how we can check how the current time and what we can do to do much better. Yeah, that's
So
what
you
I
were
know about this.
so you were earlier in Shiva
Yeah,
for 1 year, right?
yes, correct. Yeah, I didn't complete 1 year, but yeah, almost 6 to 8 months I was there,
Okay.
and I also learned previously with a book because my maternal grandfather he was very good in astrology and numerology. Somehow since childhood I had interest from him. I got interest from him.
Okay. So it was there in your family.
Yeah, yes.
So Ravi was my colleague in the earlier company I was in. So welcome, Ravi.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Let's hear from Anna, who is from Canada, a bit about yourself and about your inspiration to study astrology.
Hi, everybody. I was born in Russia, St. Petersburg. I'm living in Canada for almost 20 years. By background, I'm a mathematician, but I'm working in a bank in Canada. And I studied astrology when I was 17 to 22. But it was a Western astrology. And after that, I didn't do much. And right now, so I'm just like, I'm feeling that I just want to also, but like I'm looking for I'm also doing Sahaja Yoga for almost 15 years. Just came back from India. I was like spent 1 month in India. That's why I just like want to study like Vedic astrology. So, and so hopefully.
Nice. Welcome, Anna. Let's hear from Geeta ji.
Good evening. I'm Geeta Menon. I live in Bangalore. And yes, even I had joined the Shiva astrology course number 11 and did nearly 2 years with them. And then went through some ups and downs in my life, and then I stopped. Then I met Venkat somewhere, and then we got talking, and I decided to join this course again. And I hope this time it's going to be a more sustained learning. And I'm not in it for anything other than just the interest of learning and seeing the various things that by learning what I can do. And that's it. So, well, hi to everybody and nice to see all of you.
Welcome, Geetaji, and really it's inspiring for considering your busy schedule. You have made the time for learning this. Thank you for joining here. Let's hear from Ajay sir. Ajay ji.
You're on mute, Achi.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry. I was on mute. Yeah, hey everyone, and thank you, Venkatji, for providing this opportunity. I think this is a course I was really looking forward to. I was also part of the Shiva batch. I have done 1 year the basic astrology course, and before that, I was pretty interested. I used to do some self-study, used to buy some books, and used to read some blogs on astrology, and used to do some practice on my own horoscope to find out, do some predictions for me. And after that course, Shiva batch, it was more structured way of learning it, but I could not join the advanced course because I was busy in some other my work related assignments, and the time did not suit me. But I think but my interest in astrology and learning never died. I kept on learning, maybe in bits and pieces whenever I got the opportunity. So though I am a technology guy, so I have done my doctorate in computer science and engineering, and I'm working in the IT industry only.
Okay, nice to hear. Welcome, Ajay sir. I think Sarshija ma'am is having trouble with her Gmail ID. She's trying to fix it. So meanwhile, I think we should proceed. So our next thing is to watch that video which I had pre-recorded, which is on the introduction to Vedic astrology. And since it's a pre-recorded, you are free to ask me to pause anytime if you have any question. Okay, and I'll pause it and we can discuss in between. Okay. It's visible, right?
Yes,
So
this is visible.
this is around 18 minutes. Okay. And today it will stretch beyond 7:30 for sure. So I think Geeta ji will be leaving, and I hope others can stay on so that I can play all the three topics. Okay. Welcome to lesson. This is the wrong one. Yeah. Hi, welcome to lesson 1, topic 1. The topic is Introduction to Vedic Astrology. Have you ever wondered why some days feel more energetically charged than others? Welcome to the world of Vedic astrology, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today we will discover how celestial patterns can illuminate our path forward. We begin with a prayer to Lord Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Our journey will take us through 7 essential concepts, from basic origins to practical applications. Each step builds upon the last,
helping us understand this profound science in a clear and practical way. The subtopics we cover would be origins and the names, the core purpose of Vedic astrology, the three branches that are involved, some fundamentals on the chart, the planetary influences, the houses and signs, some unique Vedic perspectives, and then a mind map to visualize all that has been covered, followed by a summary of the 7 concepts. So we begin with the origins and names briefly. So Vedic astrology or Jyotish comes from 2 Sanskrit words, Jyoti meaning light and Ish meaning divine. This ancient science originated in India, where it has been practiced continuously for thousands of years, evolving alongside the human civilization. Today, Jyotish thrives both in India and worldwide. From Mumbai to New York, people consult it for healthcare, timing, business decisions, and life choices. So, question to you, why do you think Vedic astrology has survived for thousands of years while many other ancient practices have disappeared? You can think about it later and write it down. Now we look at the core purpose of Vedic astrology or Jyotish. Jyotish isn't just about predicting the future. Think of it as a cosmic GPS helping you navigate life's journey. It shows you favorable times for actions, just like checking weather forecast before planning an outdoor event. Not only that, it also tells about our past karmic lives, the karmic debts to repay, our inner tendencies, and a lot more. So it's a tool for self-understanding. Of course, a guide for timing the decisions. And we know the connection between cosmic and our personal inner rhythms. So it's a tool for self-discovery, not just managing life, but evolving our very soul. Well, that's actually the main key purpose behind it. Okay, I have given glimpses of that in the prelude to the course. If not, please do watch that prelude video. From choosing career paths to understanding relationships, Jyotish offers practical guidance. For example, many successful businesses in India launched during auspicious times, aligning with positive cosmic energies. What recent decision or a major life decision you made recently? What cosmic insights might have been helpful? That's a question for you to think about. Next, we see the 3 branches or the main views seen in the Jyotish. So Jyotish works through 3 main approaches. First is the Jataka, which is analyzing the birth charts like a personal cosmic fingerprint. Second is the Muhurta or choosing favorable times for actions. And third is prashna, or it's called horary. So it's getting the answers for specific questions through a present moment analysis. So at this point in time, what question you have, based on that, that's a different kind of it's a branch of Jyotish called prashna. So these approaches serve modern needs perfectly. Companies use muhurta for launches, couples use for weddings, and individuals for property purchases. Just simple examples I'm giving. You take Microsoft India, they choose an auspicious time for their Hyderabad office inauguration using these astrological principles. So question to you, which of these branches would be most useful in your professional life and why? Think about it. Next, we see some fundamentals on charts. This is subtopic 4. Your birth chart is like a photograph of the sky at your birth moment. The rising sign or lagna shows which constellation was rising to the east. Think of it as your cosmic starting point, and every detail, the time, date, and the place, creates your unique celestial map. This map reveals your potential paths and timing. Just as a road map shows different routes, your birth chart shows various life possibilities. Understanding your rising sign, for instance, can help you recognize your natural strengths. So rising sign is one of the ways, one of the important ones. There are other indicators as well to find about our key strengths. So each chart tells a unique story through the planetary placements, aspects, and the house positions, revealing the patterns of life and the potentials. Here's a question for you. In what ways could understanding your birth chart impact your decision-making process? We can discuss later, maybe. Planetary influences. This is the next subtopic, number 5. 9 celestial bodies guide our journey. The sun, it represents our core self. The moon, our emotions. Traditional planets like Mars show our energy, while Jupiter indicates wisdom. Even the lunar nodes, called Rahu and Ketu, they reveal our spiritual direction. Each planet influences specific life areas. For example, moon in a strong position often indicates success in public roles or emotional intelligence. So if you consider for yourself a question, which planet's characteristics most resemble your personality traits? You can make a note. Maybe you can try to think about it and answer later. Next, we see about houses and signs. This is subtopic 6. Life plays out across 12 houses like a stage with different sets. Each house represents an area of life, like career, relationships, family, and so on. The zodiac signs add their unique flavor to each house's expression. So we have 12 zodiac signs and we have 12 houses. They are also called bhavas. And these houses represent different life areas. Think of houses as different rooms in your life's home. So your career house might show entrepreneurial talents, while your relationship house reveals partnership patterns. Which the question now, how might understanding house placements help in personal growth? Think about it. Now we look at some unique Vedic perspectives. Vedic astrology uses fixed star positions, unlike Western astrology. We'll see that today in the topic 3. The sidereal approach of Vedic astrology, along with Sanskrit terms and precise calculations, offers a unique perspective on cosmic influences. So there is a difference. There are some fundamental differences between Vedic and Western astrology, which we will see in some time soon. Today's practitioners blend ancient wisdom with modern needs. From career counseling to timing major decisions, Vedic astrology continues to evolve while maintaining its core principles. Now, a question to you. How could Vedic astrology complement your current decision-making process? Where do you think it might help you? Think about it. Now, we'll look at a mind map to visualize what's been covered, and then we have a summary. So, let's consolidate our learning through this visual map. Notice how each concept connects, creating a complete picture of Vedic astrology's wisdom and practical applications. You may like to take a screenshot if you want for later reference. So we have explored how Vedic astrology offers practical tools for understanding life patterns and making informed decisions. This ancient science remains remarkably relevant for today's challenges. So overall, if you see, it offers a comprehensive system for understanding life patterns through planetary movements, house placements, and the timing tools, supporting our personal and professional decisions. And it remains relevant today, providing insights for self-discovery, relationships, career choices, and spiritual growth. Thank you. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीनारायणयेति समर्पयामि.
Okay. So, what were your impressions?
So Venkatji, you said that the kind of astrologies, I have also heard the Nadi is also one branch of astrology which is different, or it is same as which is we look at the horoscope and the birth chart.
Yeah. No, it's different. It's more based on the 5 elements. And based on the elements, the houses and the signs are interrelated in that. So there are many, you can say, practices of astrology. So there is the one that we are mainly doing is Parasharis, based on Sahaj Parashara's system. Then we have Jaimini's system. Then we have KP, Krishnamurti Padhati. And then we have Brigu Padhati, Brigu Saral Padhati. Then we have work by Varaha Mihra. Then we have Brihat, this one. there are many more systems actually. So it is actually,
So this
you can say,
based on Parashari.
yeah, Parashara is what is the main basis for many of these systems that have come out. So if you take, for example, Bhrigu Sutras, it's a very, you can say, much more handy. It gives kind of shortcuts. That's what Bhrigu Saral Padhati is about. And it's quite, useful and effective. That's what I found it. So while there are so many, it might become confusing at some point. So it's better to, until we have our foundations clear, we should not get too much into too many of these flavors. So maybe that's something to see after 2 years or so. Yeah.
Okay, but do the core principles remain same on all these, or like they are pretty different than each other? The core principles of finding out, because the
No,
houses
so
are
you see
fixed.
the fundamentals that you get in this 1 year course, it is the same for all.
Okay,
The way they are different is in the way they are interpreting. So
interpreted.
they have
Okay.
different criteria for interpreting. So
Mhm.
many of them don't match in that sense. Yeah.
But Nadi, is Nadi not the thing which they read off the palm leaves, Venkat? Where the astrologer will ask you some questions
Yeah.
and numbers, and then they take off that palm leaf and read out your.
That thing is, see, Nadi is basically element based. What they are doing is they are combining with horary. So the
Okay,
time you ask, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions? Then if not, we will go to the second portion, which is about the important terms that we should get familiar. Those who are not, I think many of you are already having exposure to astrology, but this is more to do with the Sanskrit part of it. So I'll play that video now, okay? And we can discuss. You can even feel free to pause, ask me to pause in between if you want, okay? I'm sharing that now.
Hi, welcome to Lesson 1, Topic 2. And the topic is Terms in Vedic Astrology. Understanding the language of Vedic astrology opens doors to a profound wisdom tradition that has guided generations. Sanskrit terms like graha and nakshatra aren't just translations, they carry deeper meanings that connect us to this ancient science. Let's explore these essential terms together, understanding both their practical use and cultural significance. So we begin with the prayers. Prayer to Lord Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. We will journey through 7 key aspects of Vedic astrology, starting from the basic planets that influence us daily to understand how to choose the right timing for important decisions. Think of it as learning to read nature's own calendar. The subtopics covered here are the planets, signs and houses, time periods, lunar mansions, planetary combinations, simple remedies, auspicious timing, and then the visual mind map for these topics and the summary. So in this topic of terms in Vedic astrology, the main and the most used terms for these subtopics are going to be covered here. First, the planets or grahas. Just like every team has key players, Vedic astrology has 9 celestial players called grahas. So a graha is a planet. Let's be 3 of them. Surya is the sun, is like our inner leader, giving us vitality and purpose. Chandra, the moon, reflects our emotions. Notice how people's moods often change with the lunar phases. These fundamental energies shape our basic personality. Moving to the other cosmic influencers, Shukra or Venus brings pleasure and harmony. Think how we feel during the morning star's appearance. Guru, the Jupiter, represents wisdom, like a teacher guiding us. Shani, Saturn, teaches us discipline, similar to how a strict mentor shapes our character. There's a question for you. Which planet rules your birth month? You may like to find it. Make a note of it and find it later. Next, signs and houses
So what
or
is the
rashis and
question?
bhavas.
Which planet rules your birth month?
Birth month. Yeah.
Imagine your life as a 12-room house. That's what the 12 rashis or zodiac signs represent. Just like each room in your home serves a different purpose, each sign has its unique energy. The Lagna or rising sign is like your home's main entrance. It's how you first approach the world. These bhavas or houses show different areas of your life, from career to relationships.
So in this image that you see, the number 1 where it's given in under Leo, that's the rising sign or the Lagna. It's usually indicated with a diagonal line.
In this cosmic house, some rooms are more important than others. The Kendras are like your home's pillars, and they are 1, 4, 7, and 10. They are the angular houses that support your life structure. Trikonas, that is houses 1, 5, and 9, are like windows bringing in positive light. Griha, not graha, griha, that is house, shows how the planets feel and where they feel most comfortable, in which house or which room. Just like how we each have our favorite room at home. You may like to answer this question, if not now, later. What sign was rising, which is the Lagna sign, at your birth time? Next, the terms for time periods or dashas. Life moves in cycles like seasons. In Vedic astrology, these cycles are called dashas. Think of Mahadasha as major chapters in your life story. Some focus on learning, others on achieving, and so on. Antardasha are like chapters within chapters, bringing different themes into focus. Many successful people in India traditionally consult these periods for major decisions. The Vimshottari system is like a cosmic clock spanning 120 years. Each planet takes turns influencing your life, just like different teachers guide you through school years. Understanding these dashapalas or results helps you align with the natural rhythm of time. Maybe you can note this and we will find it later during the course. Which planet's major period or Mahadasha are you currently experiencing? Next are the lunar mansions or nakshatras. Just as we divide our cities into neighborhoods, the zodiac is divided into 27 nakshatras or lunar mansions. Your Janma Nakshatra or birth star is like your cosmic address. Your Chandra Rashi or moon sign reveals your emotional landscape. Much like how the moon affects ocean tides, it influences our inner tides of feeling. So the terms here are Nakshatra, Janma Nakshatra, and Chandra Rashi. Each nakshatra is further divided into quarters called nakshatrapada, like subdivisions of a neighborhood. Tarabala shows how strong your birth star's influence is, starting with Ashwini. These 27 star houses create a detailed map of the sky, each with its unique characteristics, just like how different localities have different vibes. There's a thinking question there. Do you know your birth star or Janma Nakshatra? Next are the planetary combinations or yogas. Yogas are special planetary combinations. Imagine them as cosmic team-ups. When planets work together positively, they create Raja Yoga, bringing success, like when all team members collaborate perfectly. Dhana Yoga is like having the right business partners come together, potentially bringing prosperity. So the terms are Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Dhana Yoga. Planets have friendships too, called Graha Maitri. Some work well together, like Sun and Jupiter, while others might create challenges. When beneficial planets form Shubha Yoga, that is auspicious combination, it's like having all your supporters in one room. Yuti shows planets meeting in the same sign. That's called conjunction of planets. Next are the terms for simple remedies, also called upayas. Just as we take an umbrella when it rains, upayas are protective measures for challenging planetary positions. Like wearing warm clothes in winter, specific ratnas or gemstones can help balance planetary energies. Mantras are like cosmic passwords, specific sound vibrations that help harmonize with planetary frequencies. Many global leaders, from business people to politicians, often wear specific gems. Dana or charity works like sharing your umbrella during rain. It creates positive energy. Vrata or fasting is like giving your system a reset. Puja rituals are like regular maintenance for your cosmic connection. These practices are still common in many Indian households and are gaining popularity worldwide. And there is a question to think. Which simple remedial practice feels most natural to you among these? You can note it down and answer later. Next are the auspicious timing related terms. Auspicious timing is also called muhurta. Muhurta is about choosing the right time, like knowing when to plant seeds in a garden. Panchanga is your cosmic calendar showing 5 key elements of time. Tithi shows the moon's daily phase, just as farmers have long known that lunar phases affect crop growth. Each day or vara has its ruling planet. Notice how Monday, which is moon day, feels different from Sunday. Karana shows subtle time divisions. Rahu Kala marks challenging times in each day, like avoiding rush hour traffic. It's better to plan around these times. So that is the end of those 7 themes on which we had these important terms.
So I noticed some mistake there in that 1.2.7. I will correct that and then remake these videos and then share. Okay.
Covered. Now we have a mind map of the same. So you can visualize how all these elements connect like a cosmic web where each thread influences the others. Together they form a complete system for understanding life's patterns and possibilities. You may like to take a screenshot if you want. Now the summary. From planets to timing, these ancient principles continue to guide millions today, whether you are planning a wedding in Mumbai or opening a business in New York. Understanding these cosmic rhythms can add another dimension to your decision making. So, Vedic astrology uses planets, signs, houses, and the time periods to understand these patterns, offering practical guidance through simple remedies and timing principles. So, understanding these basic concepts helps align our daily activities with cosmic rhythms for better outcomes. Thank you. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीनारायणयेति समर्पयामि. ॐ तत्सत्.
Okay, so that was just
Venkat, I'll leave now. So, Venkat, I'll
Yeah, yeah.
leave now if you don't
Sure,
mind.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was to get you familiar with some of these Vedic astrology terms. How much, Anna, are you familiar with these?
With terminology, so very little. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Please, you can. I will actually make there's some typos I found out regarding the subtopic names. So I'll correct that. And once I upload the corrected ones, you can please watch them, and then get familiar.
So these recordings will be stored in the shared drive, Venkat, or like in a form of a video or in the form of a slides like earlier?
No, I'll share the video itself in the website in that content area. Okay.
Okay, no shared drive and nothing like this time.
No drive, because drive takes a lot of space. This will be in the YouTube, but it will not be available for public viewing. The links will be in that website.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll proceed with the third video, which is on the comparison of Vedic and Western astrology. Okay.
So Venkat, before we go to that, I think there was a mantra and shloka at the end of each video. you're reciting. So what is the meaning of that?
Meaning of that. The beginning is to ensure things are obstruction free. That's a normal prayer to Ganesha always. So the last prayer is offering and asking for forgiveness from the divine for any mistakes or anything that's happened during the process.
Okay. The beginning one I could understand. The last one I was more curious to know that what we are
Yeah,
praying
yeah.
in that.
That's like whatever mistakes or anything that we might have missed, we seek forgiveness from the divine. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Thank you, Venkat.
Yeah. Now we'll play this one. This is another 18 minutes. Okay, so I think after that we might be discussing some more time. So please mentally plan according to that. Today it's a bit delayed. Yeah. So I hope you can see it now.
Yes, we can see.
Topic 3.
Sorry.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Astrology. Close your eyes for a moment. Think about the last time someone asked you, "What's your sign?" You probably answered confidently, maybe Taurus or Gemini. But what if I told you that in another part of the world, using a different system, you might be a completely different sign? Today, we are going to uncover why this happens as we explore two fascinating windows to the celestial world. Prayer to Lord Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Our journey today will take us through 7 key concepts that shape these ancient traditions. We will start from the familiar ground of zodiac signs and travel all the way to profound questions about fate and free will. Think of this as your passport to understanding the stars from both Eastern and Western perspectives. The subtopics that we cover are the astrological systems and introduction, the cultural foundations, the chart calculations, the birth chart styles, the planetary systems, the retrograde planet interpretations, and the key question of fate versus free will, followed by the mind map to visualize all that has been shown, and then there will be a summary of the things covered. First, the astrological systems, an introduction. Let's start with something that we all can see, the night sky. Right now, somewhere in Mumbai, an astrologer is looking at the exact same stars as another astrologer in New York. But they're seeing them quite differently. Western astrology is like using a calendar. It divides the year into 12 equal parts based on seasons. But Vedic astrology, it's more like using a star map, looking at actual star positions in the sky. Imagine the difference between giving directions using landmarks versus using exact GPS coordinates. That's the fundamental difference we're talking about here. The Vedic system even includes 27 cosmic neighborhoods called nakshatras. Think of them as celestial zip codes. So the key difference is that the Western astrology uses the fixed zodiac signs based on the sun's movement. Actually, it's being forcibly fixed because the sun doesn't really meet at the same point after 1 year. There is a shift always. But the Vedic astrology is based on the stars, which are literally fixed in terms of their position with respect to the earth. So when we take the reference as a star, the zodiac signs then mapped remain fixed, actually remain fixed. There's no change in them. And that's the fundamental difference there between Vedic and Western astrology. Now, here's where it gets interesting for us personally. If you are always thinking that you were an Aries because you were born in mid-April, you might be surprised to learn that in Vedic astrology, you could actually be a Pisces. You might be thinking, how can I be two different signs? Well, it's like measuring the same distance using kilometers and miles. It's just that the systems are different. So this brings us to our first thinking point. How might using different systems give us different insights about ourselves? So take a moment to consider this as we move ahead. So in general, you can say the difference is in the way the things are calculated. And there are difference in the times and the principles itself. We move on to the cultural foundations. Imagine walking into two different houses. One an ancient Indian temple with astronomical markings, and another a Greek museum filled with mythological art. This is exactly what we are dealing with when we compare these traditions. In India, Vedic astrology grew from careful scientific observations mixed with spiritual wisdom. Astrologers were also mathematicians and astronomers. They would spend nights studying star patterns, calculating movements. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece and Rome, astrology developed alongside beautiful myths of gods and goddesses. Each planet told a story. Mars wasn't just a red planet, it was the god of war. So there are distinct religious foundations behind the development of the two different systems in astrology. And one might, if interested, look into the origins of the two in terms of the mythology and the mythological works. These roots are still alive today. In modern India, it's common to consult an astrologer before major life decisions like choosing a wedding date or starting a business. I remember my colleague in Bangalore telling me how his entire tech company chose their launch date based on astrological calculations. In the West, astrology has evolved differently. It's more about personal growth and understanding yourself. You might see it in psychology offices as much as in mystical shops. So, a question for you: how does cultural context influence the astrological interpretation? You might like to think about it later. Next are the calculations, the chart calculations. Let's talk numbers, but you don't need to worry. So we'll make it simple. There is this fascinating 24-degree difference between these systems. You can think of it like two clocks, one running on solar time and one on the star time. They're both right, just they are different. If you are driving across time zones, you adjust your watch, right? Similarly, when we move between these two systems, we need to adjust our cosmic coordinates. It's why your Western sunflower might be blooming in Virgo while your Vedic lotus is flowering in Leo. So there is this difference, and this has been calculated based on what we call as Ayanamsha. It's not in scope of this course, but it's important to be aware of this because there are different Ayanamshas actually available in Vedic astrology, and some of them are said to be more precise in their interpretations that they bring based on that. So let me give you a real example. My friend Sarah, always identified as a strong-willed Aries in Western astrology. When she learned her Vedic sign was Pisces, she was shocked. But then she realized this explained her artistic side, her deep intuition. It's like discovering a new layer of yourself. So if your Western sun is in late Aries, around 25 degrees, would you like to guess where it might be in the Vedic system? So these are the kind of differences there between in the calculations when it comes to the signs based on degrees. Now let's look at the birth chart styles. If you pull out a Western birth chart and a Vedic one, and you see something fascinating. Western charts are like a pie, round and 12 neat slices. But Vedic charts, they can be either square if it's South Indian, or it can be like a diamond or chessboard kind of thing, depending on the region of India. And it's not just about looks. Each style reflects a different way of seeing the cosmic dance. Just like architects design buildings differently based on their cultural needs, these chart styles serve different purposes. So it's the way the things are mapped is different. Whereas the differences within India, if you see, the principles are the same, but the way they are represented, the geometry is a bit different. That's all. Each chart style is like a different language telling the same story. In India, a square chart reflects the ancient Vastu principles, the same ones used in temple architecture. The Western round chart, it mirrors the horizon as we see it. When we show these different styles to students, they often say, now I see why my Vedic reading felt so different. So it's basically the way they are represented that makes it different. There's a question: how does chart shape influence the interpretation approach? Now we'll see the planetary systems that are involved in the two. Imagine conducting two orchestras, each with slightly different instruments. The Vedic system works with 9 planets, including 2 shadow planets, which are called Rahu and Ketu. These are like cosmic drum beats marking karmic rhythms. Western astrology includes newer discoveries like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. You can think of them as modern instruments added to an ancient symphony. In Delhi, an astrologer might focus heavily on the moon's nodes, while in London, they might emphasize Pluto's transformative power. So there is a difference in the number of planets and the planets that are used actually. The way these planets interact is fascinating. In California, an astrologer might see Mercury retrograde and suggest careful communication. But in Chennai, the same backward motion might be seen as Mercury gaining strength. It's like watching the same dance from different seats in the theater. The dance hasn't changed, but your perspective has. This brings us to an interesting point. How might these additional planets in Western astrology affect our chart interpretation? That's something to think about. Next are the retrograde interpretations. So something intriguing about these backward moving planets. What we call a retrograde, which you also mentioned with an example in the last one. In Vedic astrology, when planets appear to move backwards, they're actually considered more powerful. If you think of it like a friend walking closer to you, they appear larger and more influential. A Vedic astrologer in Chennai might celebrate when Mars goes retrograde, seeing it as a time of increased strength, while a Western astrologer in Paris might advise caution during the same period. So these different views create entirely different approaches to timing. I knew a businessman who consulted both the systems. During Mercury retrograde, his Western astrologer suggested postponing contracts, while his Vedic astrologer saw it as an ideal time for deep analysis and decision making. Now, this brings up a question. Why might the same planetary motion be interpreted differently in each system? You can note it down and maybe think about it. We can connect on this later. Next comes the important question of fate versus free will. This is the heart of the matter. Fate versus free will. Vedic astrology is deeply rooted in karma. If you think of it like a cosmic bank account of our actions, your birth chart is like a statement of your karmic balance. Western astrology, however, tends to see the planets more like weather patterns, influencing but not controlling. It's the difference between seeing the planets as strict teachers versus helpful guides. Both views have profound implications for how we use astrological wisdom. So we will try to cover more on this in the upcoming lessons. But it's important to know that this is a key distinction between the two systems. Today, these approaches blend in fascinating ways. Modern astrologers often use both the systems, like using both traditional and contemporary medicine. A client in New York might receive insights about their karma from Vedic astrology while exploring psychological growth through Western interpretations. A question for you. How do these different perspectives affect astrological counseling? You can think about it. Now we see a mind map to visualize what's been covered. You may like to take a screenshot if you want to refer at leisure. As we wrap our journey through these two celestial traditions, remember that both systems offer valuable insights. Like two different maps of the same territory, each reveals unique features of our cosmic landscape. Whether you're drawn to the precise calculations of Vedic astrology or the psychological depth of Western astrology, both offer pathways to understanding ourselves and our place in the universe. So they offer complementary perspectives on celestial influences. While we saw the various differences and in the approaches, they are important to understand and be given the value that's relevant for each of them. They both of them have distinct cultural traditions, and understanding both systems provides deeper insight into how different cultures interpret celestial influences on human experience. Thank you. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीनारायणयेति समर्पयामि.
Okay. So any thoughts, any questions on that?
So Venkat, you said that and chart remains same. Doesn't matter which part of the world we look at the chart. Like for example, if my chart, somebody is looking from US or some other country, does that make any difference? Because that
No,
remains same.
the systems you use will make it different.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In either case, if you use Vedic astrology sitting in US, it's the same. So that's not it.
Yeah,
But
it
if
is
you are
same.
using Western, is a bit different. But there is quite an amount of depth even in Western astrology. But the focus and the things they see is different here. And overall, if you see, it's all an approximation. So even Vedic astrology, we are estimating, and it's like these are cosmic forces that are operating, but the force by itself doesn't do anything. It is how we collaborate with it. That is what is the result of that, because how we are consciously using our own thinking, our practices, all these in collaboration with the cosmic forces as seen through the planets. That is the thing that really comes out. So it's wrong to say that planet is going to do this or do that or influence. It's not like that. It's then we are just animals. We are also conscious beings. So how we interact with it, that is why it's a complicated practice and science, because an astrologer needs to think of that as well, how a person might respond. And that's why it's always a gray area. It's not always precise, but we get very good insights to take actions for a better life. That is for sure.
Okay,
I
thank you for
think
that.
I have a question about like complementary part of it, because I know a little bit like
Yeah.
Western astrology, right? So,
Yeah,
and it seems to me it's like two different. Again, I don't know like Vedic astrology, but like knowing Western astrology, it seems to me that they're two distinguished systems. I'm not sure, like, but you are saying in your video that this is complementary. Is there any like
complementary in the sense of using it, not in terms of
okay.
the principles. Yeah.
Okay, so this is because even like the basic principle, right? So I know that for Western astrology, you can even if you just change your location, right? So if you move, for example, like me or Ravi, like from India to Germany or Russia to Canada, your life based on the Western astrology can be different, right?
Different.
So because so and here, like in Vedic astrology, nothing is going to change, right?
It's not going to change because it's based on the stars. It's fixed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. So, but still, so you are saying that like both these two schools, right? So they're complementary, so that we can
Complementary for us to get a overall much better picture of the same person. Yeah. In that sense, not in the sense of the way it is interpreted. No. Yeah. So now I'll just open that agenda slide. So this part we have done 1 to 4, and now curriculum is something I have shared multiple times. I hope you have seen it. I'll just open that one page or one more time. Just give me a minute. So this is that one pager for Q1. And I have shared a video link. So if you have not gone through, please go through that. So I have given a walkthrough of this as well as the structure of the classes. Okay. And so this month is going to be, we did this, then next class we'll be doing some of these verses reading from the Brihat Parashara Horasastra, and then some exercises on what was covered today. Okay, then we'll look at the origins and philosophy and all that Vedic part of it in the next to next class. And then the fourth week, again, it will be practice session and the verses reading from that Brihat Parashara or Shastra work. And I would suggest please go through that video that I had shared on the curriculum. And one more thing I want to show is the KWL. Will start it from this. KWL is not for the practice class, it's only for the concept class. So I hope you are familiar with this. You can use your own notes. So at the beginning of like the next concept class, you will be writing the K and W, what you know so far and what you want to know. And then at the end of the class, you'll write what you have learned. Okay. And then you can share to me later. And the structure of the classes, you can go through that video that I have shared. Okay. And that's about it. And that closing prayers, I have to make a video. Maybe that will be a 1-minute video. So I'll do that from the next time. We can play that one. So any questions you have for today? And I wanted to ask you if that mind map was it useful, or do you want it different?
So Venkat, last time, we covered a lot of topics, and maybe this time I also make some notes and some mapping of learning in sort of an Excel sheet where
Yeah.
I can quickly refer to my learnings, which, like, for
Yeah.
example, starting from houses to who is the Uch and Neech ka ghar, and in that house which planet is the ruler, all those things. So I will try to
Yeah.
map that, because that will be some quick references while going through the written notes. Then in somewhere, last time I tried to do it but I could not do it completely, but I think this time I'll start doing it from the beginning so that I can really refer to it
I
more.
think, yeah, correct. That will help. So I'll make this KWL as a Google sheet, and we'll keep it shareable. So we don't need to physically exchange it,
Okay.
and maybe separate for each. I'll make. So, yeah. And I wanted to ask if you are comfortable with this model, like I'm playing this pre-recorded things, and then we are discussing. So are you comfortable with this?
Yeah, fine, okay.
It's fine, no?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe going forward when we'll have more interactions required, when we'll have
Yes,
more
yes.
questions, maybe we will raise our hands more frequently and say, okay, Venkat, we want to interrupt
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, that's the idea behind this. So I'm more attentive for what you want to know. So because the recording takes care of the rest of the things. Okay, so anything else? Or shall we wind up? Okay, so then we'll see you again coming Saturday. And thank you for joining today.
Okay, and thank you, Venkat, and
Bye.
thank you. And sorry for all the hiccups. Next time
Oh,
I
no
will be
problem.
on time.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.